As the crypto market thrusts back to the upside, the higher prices are maintained, making this trend shift much more real. The crypto winter seems to have ended. The season is changing. As the soil in the crypto market is replenished, the question still remains, when will the next storm hit? There is one indicator that has never failed us in any Bitcoin cycle, and it's an indication that is almost so obvious that everyone just skips over it. And we're going to be talking about what that is today. Smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. So as many of you may have noticed, we've been pretty bullish here recently on this channel. We got bullish on this channel just at the right time. At the turn of the new year, on January 2nd, I released a video called Bitcoin Could End the Bear Market Soon. Weekly RSI breakout is close. And we analyzed how it was pretty likely that we were going to start seeing green candles much sooner than people expected. And since that video, Bitcoin is up 35%. So things are going in the direction that we expected here. People are way too focused right now on the lower timeframes. But the macro trend is where everything is happening. And if you're not looking at the macro trend, you're probably going to be trading this market in the wrong direction. And I also want to discuss where I think the next major dump is going to take place. I think we're going to be bullish for quite some time moving forward, but it's possible that in 2023, we're going to see a major rally, a continued rally, also a major downtrend. This is what always happens at this point in the cycle, so let's just dive into it. This is the weekly chart for Bitcoin from the beginning of time, and the one indicator that has never failed is the macro downtrend line breakout. Every single time that Bitcoin has broken the macro downtrend line, a bull market has come thereafter. A lot of people are still bearish, and they're allowing their bias to cloud their judgment, right? They see that we're breaking the macro downtrend line, but they just believe their opinions so much that they're not willing to actually see it for what it is. This is a macro trend shift. In 2012, Bitcoin broke the macro downtrend line and went up 25,000%. In 2015, Bitcoin broke the macro downtrend line and went up about 8,000%. In 2019, Bitcoin broke the macro downtrend line and eventually went up 1,500%. So of course, every cycle, the gains for Bitcoin decrease, which means that in the next couple of years, it is expected that Bitcoin would at least have a multi-100% gain at the minimum, right? Which would land us at least at 100,000 or more. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, the one thing that is also extremely prevalent in Bitcoin bear markets is that when you break the macro downtrend line, usually the bull market doesn't just begin right away. There's a lot of sideways action that takes place after you break the macro downtrend line. Now, this macro downtrend line has a 100% hit rate where when you break it, the bull market begins at some point. Now, in most bear cycles, we break the macro downtrend line and we actually come back to backtest it. We usually backtest it. Now, the 2019 breakout was backtested in 2020 during COVID, so that's a little bit different, but we did essentially pretty much give up all the gains from the macro breakout before continuing up. And so there's one thing that's constant is when we break the macro downtrend line, we then give up all the gains of the breakout run. So we break out and then we eventually give up those gains to retest that breakout level and then see the bull market. So I know I've been very bullish on this channel, but I also just want to show you guys that I'm bullish in the sort of medium term where I see Bitcoin going up for a few months, but at some point we're going to probably give up all the gains. And it's going to, people's heads are going to be twisted. And so what does this mean? There's a big discussion about how high Bitcoin can go. Of course, the bears are saying that Bitcoin can't go up, but it's been going up. So clearly there's something that they don't have right. There's people saying that we can't go higher than 30,000. I mean, 30,000 is a pretty reasonable target. It is a macro support from 2021, but also the falling wedge breakout says 50,000. But regardless, if it's 30, 40, 50, I think that we're probably going to retest back down into the low 20,000s once again at some point at the end of the year. On this channel, we've created a theory recently where essentially the reason why the markets are going up right now, or at least attempting to go up, is that they're anticipating the Fed pausing rates. And I think markets will rally into the Fed pausing rates. But what's also very prevalent is that every time the Fed pivots, we crash. So that's the thing that's going to also be a mind twister for people. Everyone thinks that the Fed pivot is just bullish, but actually the Fed pivot is historically extremely bearish. So market rallies up into where the Fed pauses, and then when they pivot, markets crash, and which is going to be the exact opposite of what the crowd expects. The crowd has been trained at this point to believe that a Fed pivot equals up. But that's not how it goes. It's actually Fed pivot equals down, then up. So this is what I think. I think Bitcoin's going to run somewhere to 30 to 50,000 and then correct back to the low 20s towards the end of the year before rallying into the fourth halving. So that's the expectation I have right now. We'll see how it goes. Just wanted to give a more deeper dive into the more longer term expectations of where I think things are headed instead of just talking about only upside. I think it's going to be a very volatile year. It's not going to be up only. It's going to be, major swings in both directions. But I hope this clarifies some things for you guys. Definitely smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. And we have a few days left on the BitGet deal. Deposit 200, get 20. Take that offer while it is still here. It's only for you guys on this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.